Hello, everybody. It is the Popper J back with some more Pioneer content. And instead of a deck tech today, I am going over the Pioneer metagame. And in my opinion, I think it is a very, very healthy format at this point, with the highest meta deck on MTG Goldfish only being 3.5% of the meta, with the next being 2 and almost a half percent and then just going down the line from there. But the interesting thing is it Phoenix is the top tier deck. It's the deck to be. It appears on MTG Goldfish's site, and it makes sense. It's a very good deck in my opinion. It was played in modern. The deck, the card, the Phoenix is just really good in it by itself. So that's what makes that really good. I don't like that Nexus of Fate is the second best like deck name. Nexus Reclamation. I'm not happy with that. I mean, like, it can't be that bad. There are some good aggro decks in the format, I guess. I'd guess that would beat them. But, like, it's interesting that Nexus of Fate has gotten another shot in the Shine Light or whatever. I can't talk today. Mono Red Aggro is a top deck, and that is really good because aggro decks should always be a mainstay in the format. It's what keeps really good decks like control decks from winning every single game because and then if without aggro decks we'd only have mid-range and control decks, and the control decks would always beat the mid-range decks basically, so all we really have is the best of control, so we need aggro to balance things out. And I think we have really good aggro cards in the format, so that's really awesome. We have a deck called G, which appears to be a green deck. I actually haven't even looked over that yet, but it appears to be playing Walking Ballista, Once Upon a Time, and Nissa Who Shakes, whatever. It's it seems good. I mean, like I'm happy that we have a lot of colors shown in the meta, like blue, red, green. Wait, yeah, blue, red, and green so far. We have all Timmer as a colors up there. As we go down, we get white with Azorius Tempo, mono black aggro, green field ramp, Simic Stompy. There's an Oko deck right there. That's really good. I mean, Oko is an issue. It's weird that they keep on banning green cards that aren't Oko or aren't something broken. Like they banned that one sideboard card that makes no sense to me. Oh yes, I can hate on some colors. I can hate on blue and black. Ooh, look at that. I don't understand banning those kind of things. You might say, oh well, it's just what helps green be so OP. No, it's what green is doing that's OP, not the fact that it has answers to two colors. I mean, they are the two colors that can really hurt green with counters and kill spells, so I guess that makes sense. But let me get into this more. Azorius Tempo isn't even 2% of the meta. The lower the meta, in my opinion, like the percentage of the meta, the better, because that means there's more variance, which it isn't good for when you're building a deck, because you can't just find a deck to beat and then be like, okay, I'm gonna beat it. You just have more ability to play what you want because you're not likely to play against the same deck every other time. But Azorius Tempo, that just it seems good. Spell Queller, Brazen Bar, or Gideon Ally of Zendikar. It's a tempo deck. It's blue white. It seems like it'd be annoying, but at the same time, it's what Azorius does in the first place. So you gotta respect that it is in its color pie flavors. Mono black aggro. Top card is Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is basically the best black card in the format. There's no saying that it isn't. It's just super good. The funny thing is like we don't even have two mono red aggro decks in the top. We have one mono red aggro and then a mono black aggro. So that's interesting. Green field ramp and Field of the Dead deck appears to be Ugin the Spirit Dragon because this is Pioneer. It's legal, so it's funny that we get to see. I'm guessing it's Field of the Dead with Ugin the Spirit Dragon and Walking Ballista and Once Upon a Time. It's just really cool to see these cards being played together because they weren't going to be able to be played together in Modern, and they weren't going to really get played together in Commander. I mean they would, but like you never think of them being like used because that isn't what you're thinking about when you're building Commander deck anyways. Simic Stompy, Steel Leaf Champion from, I'm pretty sure that was Dominaria. That's just really awesome to have some Stompy cards up here because it's just really good because Stompy is another mainstay in the format. Like, you want aggro decks, you want stompy decks, you want some discard, you want a little bit of control, you want a little bit of combo. So this format has a lot of everything so far. It doesn't really have combo, but it does when you look at Nexus Reclamation. In my opinion, combo decks don't have to be just win on the spot. It has to be winning off of really high synergy, and that's how the decks play out. If you get your hand discarded or you get your spells countered when you're playing high synergy, you tend to lose all that value you were going for. Up down here, we also have blue white control, mono black vampires. Yes, vampires. I am very happy with that. One of the most expensive decks in the format, too, at almost $500. Burn, which is another burn deck, apparently. So we have another red aggro deck, but it's a different style. It appears to be playing maybe more spells. I don't know. And not more spells. Yeah, more spells. And then Bant, Field of the Dead. So we have actually two Field of the Dead decks, I believe. Yeah, green, Field Ramp, and Bant. So that is it's weird that Field of the Dead is seeing play in a non-rotating format competitively. It like I know it was really good in standard, but like that card seemed underwhelming when it first came out, and when it started picking up results, it was something else. But when you look at this, it's like, okay, another blue white deck, and it's more controlling. That makes sense. Mono black vampires, a tribal deck. We have a tribal deck. We also want those in a format. So that's cool. That's a synergistic, fun deck. Burn, like I said, burn has to be part of the meta anyways because it allows the control decks not to run wild. And then Bant Field of the Dead is kind of another combo deck. And it's the combo isn't that broken. I mean, yeah, there's two different versions of Field of the Dead in the format. That means there isn't one definitive best version. Yes, one is more percent of the meta, but there's two versions being played. There's two versions you have to play against. It's variance, and variance is really good in a format. We can actually view more. Let's see if we can view more real quick. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch more. I don't even have the screen recorder on all of them, but yeah, there's just so many 1% and lesses of the meta, and I think that's really, really good. Going back, we can go to the budget decks. So these are the ones that I believe MTG Goldfish makes, and that's what they put the budget thing. Funny enough, the blue red prowess is actually more expensive than the normal burn deck. That's funny. So you shouldn't even play blue red prowess. You should just build burn if you're like have that budget like need, because it's a similar deck anyways. I'd guess it's blue, it's red, and it's kind of just wanting to get their face dead. That's kind of what it is. Gary zombies and pummeler. So we got another tribal deck, although it's the budget deck, so this isn't really part of the meta at all. You're not expecting to see this, but if you're playing like in paper and people are just starting to try, you probably will see these decks. I think the red green pummeler deck was actually like a really cool thing. Although they have it posted here twice, it isn't. It's the same deck. They must have posted it twice on accident or something. But it was just a really cool deck because it's energy. That's the deck. It's basically an energy deck, but not like the one we bring in big creatures with Aetherwork Marvel. You just get the big old energy creatures and you beat face. Like it reminds me a little bit of Infect because you got like Blossoming Defense and you're just trying to kill him in one hit, but like it isn't. So it has a little bit more resilience. It doesn't have anything to do with negative no encounters. It's a really really cool deck in my opinion. But yes, that is the top whatever decks in the Pioneer metagame at this point, and it is amazing because there's just such a good variety. Like although like they keep on doing bans, and some of them are just dumb at this point. They all keep on banning green cards. Like it's a good format right now. I mean, there is plenty to play. There is a little bit of everything for everyone. At one point, there was on here there was the mono white weenie deck, the white humans deck I did a video on. That can be played. It isn't part of the meta right now, I don't think. It isn't part of a big part of the meta, but at the same time, it's still playable because there's such a variety to play. It's like modern, where you don't have to play the tier 1 stuff to get your wins. You could take some of the lower, just homebrew cards from that you've made for the format, and you can go to your FNM. If they're playing Pioneer for your FNM, you can just win. You can go ahead and win that FNM. I remember playing Modern, and I'd play a really budget version of 8 rack, and I would still win an FNM here and there. So like you can still go actually play at your local game store and win some games with any of these decks or a budget deck. Like Burn is only $150. I know that sounds like a lot, 'cause that is like a day plus work for most people. Like it's awesome though, because like that's still budget compared to everything else, and you don't completely lose your money because these cards will go up, they'll go down, you can sell out. You might lose a little money when you sell out, but for the cost of being able to go play a non-rotating format in Magic the Gathering that is not Commander, which Commander can get really expensive compared to this, it's awesome. I am really hoping for a Pioneer Brawl format because it would add more reason to play within the Pioneer cards. You'd both be able to collect all the legendaries from Pioneer, plus the good cards. You'd have a lot more overlap with your cards. Let's say you built mono black vampires. You could also have all these vampires. You can use Saurian Imperious Bloodlord as your commander. You can go grab your best vampires. You go get the worst vampires you've seen throughout the format. You play them. Wada boom, wada bing. That works. Oh, you're playing blue white control. You can use Fairy Time Raveler as your commander for Brawl, and then you get to play your Supreme Verdicts and all those cards. You just basically, if you're already playing Pioneer, you should also be able to play Pioneer Brawl because you already have the cards. Unlike how it would be in Modern, because a lot of the legendaries that you'd play in Modern Brawl wouldn't even be like tier 1 cards. A lot of the cards you'd be playing in Brawl are tier 1 Pioneer staples, like Gideon Ally of Zendikar. You could play that as your commander. There's just so much that you could do. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. If you wanted to go colorless, you can play Ugin the Spirit Dragon. If you are already playing Pioneer, Pioneer Brawl isn't that much more expensive. And let's say you just bought this deck for Pioneer Brawl, and then you want to build a deck. You now have a lot of the staples already, so you can just build in from that, and it just makes sense in my opinion. There's just so much potential for Pioneer Brawl in my opinion that I don't understand why it hasn't really been tried yet. I don't know why people haven't talked about it yet. It would be my favorite format. I'm tired. I don't like a commander that much because of how expensive it gets with the mana rocks and everything. Like, to have a perfect version of your deck, no matter what in Commander, it's gonna cost you $1,000, $2,000. It is super expensive, especially if you're in white. Like if you are a perfectionist and you want to make your deck perfect, there are so many cards that you need in the deck. All the mana rocks, they are super expensive. You're multicolored, you have to deal with the dual lands. And in the Pioneer Brawl, you can keep the fetch lands still banned, the most expensive cards, and you have to buy singletons of them are the shock lands, and then you get access to the scry lands, the life gain lands, the tri lands from cons. There is so much potential for Pioneer Brawl, and I am going to end this video on that note. If you like my content and you don't mind the crappy audio that I have off this lavalier mic, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, and I will see you guys in the next video.